My logo for my organization is "My Life is My Story." Because as I tell you guys my story, you're going to understand. As he told you guys, I'm Vernita Howard. Most people say you're just a survivor, but I'm a victorious survivor. I've been physically, emotionally, financially, verbally, and spiritually abused. John P. Key sang a song, "Life in Favor." Some people have seen where God has brought you from. They don't really understand. They don't know your story. You don't know my story. You don't know the things that I've come through. You can't even begin to imagine the pain and the trials I had to endure. In all, God has been faithful to me. But let me just tell you a little of my story. 17, pregnant, last year of high school, begged my parents to sign a paper so I can get married. I thought that's how life's supposed to be. I was raised in a 2-parent home. Everything was wonderful. Then, for the first 3 months, we lived in my parents' home. Everything was great. I went to work, I went to school. He gave me anything that I asked for. So I thought that I was living the American dream. Pregnant, we moved in with his father. I was introduced to domestic violence, domestic abuse. The name calling, the physical abuse, everything. If I voiced my opinion, he took power and control. So what I said meant nothing. He was the man. I was raised in church. I was also raised that a woman should be submissive. My ex, as a child, was raised in a domestic abusive home. I never seen it, didn't understand it, and it was getting worse and worse. My 18th birthday, I decided this was enough. I moved back in with my parents, with my daughter, whom I've just had. He called, the manipulation started, the honeymoon periods come. We decided to purchase a home. I go back. Even though I was scared, I just wanted a family foundation as my parents had laid down. He then began calling me out of my name. All the stuff repeated, the physical abuse, the name calling, everything. It was so bad that I was walking inside the food line because I had to go grocery shop. A young male was calling his girlfriend everything but a child of God. And he called her, I turned around. What? Stop. They were both at an awe. They really couldn't understand what was going on. But I was called that so much that I felt like that was my name. July, my mom had got word that things wasn't right at home. So she had started just popping up to my house. This one particular day, she pops in. He comes in, he was overheated. So I began arguing, saying, because he hadn't came home the night before. He slapped me in front of my mother. My mother took a candle holder and busted his head open. He called the police. My mother called my father. I begged her not to because I didn't want my father to get in any trouble. Because if you know me, my dad is my right hand. That's like my best friend. Police come. He tells his side of the story. They ask, who hit him upside the head? Me and my mama look at each other. So the officer said, ma'am, it had to be you because there's blood streaming down the door. My mother said, well, officer, let me go ahead and tell you. I'm going to go ahead and tell you the truth. Yeah, I done it because he slapped her in front of me. And so she began to tell him, and when I was walking out, he kicked me, and I'm pregnant with my son at this time. December 22nd, 1996. Still pregnant with my son. He goes to the club. I just wanted him to be home. Just something wasn't right. December the 23rd, my mother picks me up that morning. I barely could hold my head open because he had beat me so bad. But I just wanted to go with my mom so we can get our Christmas stuff. Swollen, bruises, everything there. She asked me what happened. I refused to tell her. She said, "Oh, okay." Go to the hospital. We come back from Rocky Mount. Go to the hospital. I lose my son. My mother contacts him to let him know that I'm having our child. He comes late. My mom stepped out. He has my oldest daughter at the time. And he leans over and tells me, if you tell them anything that happened, I'm going to tell them that you took pills to get rid of your child. Everybody who knows me know my children are my world. Scared, don't say anything. And he also tells me if I say anything, he's going to take my oldest daughter because I don't have any money. I'm broke. February 12th, 1997. This time I decide enough is enough. I have him arrested. He beat me continuously. My face, I couldn't even tell that I was light skinned. A lot of times I thought that I was as dark as his pants because I was beaten so much. I tell people now, makeup was a part of my necessities then to hide the bruises. Makeup now is just something that I get to enhance the beauty. March 1997, we separated. Go back to February. After he beat me, had him arrested, got a domestic violence protection order. As the officer told you, it's just a piece of paper. But I was told to keep that paper with me everywhere that I go. So if he comes around me, I can have him arrested. During this time, I said, okay, now V, it's time for you to do you. So I met somebody, and he treated me like my father treated my mother. But during this period of time, which people say, March, oh gosh, you only waited a month. But when you want somebody to call you by your name, just tell you that you're beautiful, you don't have to hide anything, that's what he gave me. During the period of time that me and my ex were separated, he called DSS and told them that I was unfit, that I was doing drugs, that I had turned into alcohol. They would come out, do all their testing, nothing. One day I'm taking my friend to work. The license plates are missing off the car. Get pulled by the police. Man, you have no tags. And this was the guy that I was seeing and, taking his mom to work. And she said, no tags? He said, no, but give me the registration. Because, the tag number is there. We opened the glove compartment. Nothing's there, just like a brand new car. He had went in there and took everything. Took the tags, took everything out of the car. But because my trust level was so, I had a problem with trust, I memorized the tag number. So I said to the officer, I said, the tags may be missing, but I remember the tag number. So his mom looked at me, and she said, you know him? I said, yes, ma'am. Just in case I ever found your son anywhere. So with that, we end up getting new tags. June 1997, I found out that I'm pregnant with my third child. Even though it wasn't by my ex, his manipulations, he manipulated me. Because everybody knew that I wanted a home like my parents. So he manipulated me, went out, got a new home, got me a new car, who money it was mine. But he isolated me. I didn't know anything about finances. I didn't know anything about any of that. Go back, I wasn't allowed to attend church. And I just didn't understand why God was allowing this to happen to me. The abuse got even worse. My grandparents came and got my children. He beat me, made me have sex with him, everything. I pulled out in front of an 18-wheeler. I just wanted to die. I was tired. The kids was gonna be safe. I knew my family was gonna take care of them, but I was tired. I was tired of looking in the mirror every day, not knowing who I am. I was just tired of the hurt. I was just tired. And when I pulled out in front of this 18-wheeler, there was no way that he should have been able to stop. But God said no. This man gets out of this 18-wheeler and he's walking up, he's dirty, he's about 300 pounds, and he was going off at how I could make him lose everything if he had just hit me. And technically, it would have been my fault. When he came and he seen all of the bruises that had covered me, my clothes ripped, he was angry, but then he had a loving heart. He said, I'm gonna call the police. He said, and he went with me. He went with me to the hospital. You know, he checked on me, he contacted my parents, everything. But I was bruised so bad that I was invisible even when my mom walked in. You know, still wasn't enough. I went back. November the 4th, 2004, after he beat me for the last time, when I woke up, I didn't even know where I was. But I was home. He had stripped everything in the house, but it was okay. I had enough that time. As parents, we have to be careful what we say to our children. When we say what goes on in our household stays in our household, I lived up to that. This man gave me an allowance, $200 out of my money a month. I would get a job. He would find a reason to call there and have me lose my job. Went to the safe house in Greenville. There were rules and regulations. Had to go. But I wasn't ready. Not only did he introduce me to it, but when I finally said enough was enough from him, I just got attracted to another one. I became a doormat to abusers. And, you know, it was just over and over, just a doormat. I wanted somebody who could take care of me. So then I found myself dating drug dealers. But then with that, I had to play my position, because I could sleep with you, but then I could see you in the grocery store with somebody else and I better not say nothing. Emotionally, I was drained. The last relationship, when I just said abuse just ain't for Vernita anymore, my mom had called